Okay, let's talk about doing save as for Creo models into the either working directory or a subdirectory that you specify. This is pretty handy to do, and it is a fairly common thing to do. So if we type in save as, you'll notice that we have a table option of this, and this actually takes an Excel table as an input. It needs item name, a new item name, and also the target directory, which is optional to write to. So I'm going to create those real quick just by typing them in, typing in the titles. So we have new new item name, and then to dir. And let's expand this out a little bit so we can see it a little bit better. And I'm just going to create a table by highlighting this and doing Control T, indicating that it has headers. Then we're just going to give this a name like, let's say, my table. So this is actually what this is needed for this save as operation. We're going to relate that table to this by saying tbl colon my table is going to be my reference. And then it's just a question of what are we going to ask it to do. So again, this is doing a kind of a rename in session, then a save. So I'm just going to type in like basket.prt. We'll call it new basket. And if we run this as it is right now, we should see a new basket file show up in the working directory, which there it is right there. So it's in session, it's been saved off. And if we go back to our assembly for the speaker, you'll notice that it is also here too. So I'm going to erase memory. I'm going to pull this back up from scratch, and I'm going to get rid of this file that's been created. Now let's maybe do something a little bit more interesting here. So let's say let's create a directory called sheet metal parts, and then let's do maybe front plate PRT, and then we'll call this new front, new back, and let's say that these are forged parts. So I'm creating a couple of, and let's maybe do cone, cone.prt, cone, soft parts. So what this can also do is you could specify they can either be all the same, or you could create little kind of mappings to different directories. And if those directories don't exist, this function will actually create those as it goes. So I'm going to run this. It's iterating through each of those things, and you'll notice that it has in fact created. Here's our forged parts. Here's our sheet metal part, and also our soft parts, which would be our cone here. So it is a very handy function for doing kind of save as at the back end of automation process. You do have to remember though that this is doing an in session rename of the components that are in here. So you see new front, new back, and new basket, and also new cone. So typically, when this is being done, you're going to want to kind of erase memory or purge this out of session after you've done those save as operations. But you can do some pretty amazing things, especially when you tie this into Power Query to kind of map names to other content or pull data in from a CSV file as an input to make these changes, or even through Power Query.